Our next guest has been cranking out hits since the early 60s and has become a staple in American music. He had us surfing in the USA with those California girls as we sipped a cocktail in Kokomo. Well, now he has us still cruising after all these years. Mike Love is a legend in American music. His career began in Southern California, where as a teenager he played at family gatherings with cousin Brian Wilson. The two decided to start their own group, and hence the Beach Boys were born. With songs that celebrated an endless summer of sand, surf, youth, and beauty, the Beach Boys grew into a worldwide phenomenon and a part of the American culture. The Beach Boys themselves say their music is to summer what Christmas carols are to winter.
We're going to ask you to step over here, George. And
not to sing with you.
No, no, no. He went to Yale, but he wasn't a whiffenpoofer, so we...
But the flip side to Mike Love, charity work with kids. 7 years ago, he organized a nonprofit foundation to urge young people to participate in community service. The Love Foundation and friends have been singing a message to youth, challenging them to get more involved in the fight for the environment, against drug abuse, the fight to better the world and themselves. Nice. And Mike Love joins us now from West Palm Beach, where he's been involved in the National Youth Service Day festivities. Thanks for being with us tonight, Mike.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, now you spent this afternoon with some 1,500 kids from Fort Lauderdale who were being honored by the Points of Light Foundation and StarServe for their involvement in community service. What was that like?
That was great to meet all those kids who have been involved in some constructive and meaningful things in their lives, helping other people, helping the environment. That's the whole purpose of something we created called StarServe, which stands for Students Taking Action and Responsibility in Service.
Why did you get involved in this, and what did your being there today say to the kids?
Well, that piece of film that you just saw with the president was the culmination of a series of events which started almost 2 years ago this coming June, when the Beach Boys were at a major speech that the president made addressing the youth of the country, to inspire them to get together and devise and figure out what kinds of things they can do to help out people in a general sense, to help out society by looking at it as looking at what it is they can do as individuals, as classes, as schools, and so on. So that was the November kickoff. About a year and a half later, this last November in the White House that you saw that piece from. But what it was a culmination of a lot of effort put together by ourselves, the Love Foundation, and Kraft General Foods Foundation, which put up the money to fund StarServe, and we subsequently have mailed out to 94,000 public and private schools, asking kids to get involved in meaningful service to other people.
You have put a lot of time and energy into working with kids, and I was wondering exactly why. Certainly this is something that we all want to do, but you've got your choice of projects that you might get involved in. And I was wondering too if it had anything to do with your personal experience with members of the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson and his brother Dennis, and their tragic involvement with drugs. Of course, Brian had a long-term addiction to drugs, and Dennis was accidentally killed in a boating accident, and he was involved in drugs and alcohol. Did that make you want to help kids, to work with them, to keep them on the straight road and stay away from drugs and alcohol?
Most definitely. I think almost no one in America is untouched by the ravages, whether to families or friends or people that they know or have known. Alcoholism, drug abuse is rampant. Even though most people don't get involved, it has a tremendous effect on our society in terms of crime and the cost of housing criminals. And so what we hope to do through StarServe and involving the young people with all the energy and enthusiasm and spirit and creativity that they have, this tremendous resource out there that is being untapped. And what we hope to do is get kids to devise ways and get involved with people. If they see a person with a problem, help them out. And there's a mentoring situation that comes to bear. There's a one-to-one national mentoring program that's part of the Points of Light Celebration of Service, where we're asking corporations and church people and individuals in business to get involved in coaching or mentoring a young person who may otherwise not have someone in their life who can connect them with the positive side of American life. So these personal experiences and just logic itself dictates that American people have to sort of take the bull by the horns and just, you know, like the energy that was committed in the deserts of Kuwait, if we could unleash some energy back home and address these problems that face our society in a constructive and energetic manner, I think I have to hand it to George Bush that he created the Points of Light Foundation and took what was a campaign slogan and aimed us all in the direction of helping other people.
Yeah. Now, Mike, yes. Drugs and alcohol were obviously something that affected the Beach Boys. To what extent? I mean, how much did that hurt your ability to continue churning out hits over the years? You had a wonderful string of successes and then a very dry spell.
Well, you know, it's like having the engine of your car taken out. My cousin Brian is a very creative person musically, and he went into a couple of different periods of decline, which dramatically affected the group's output. There's no question about it.
Do you ever talk to him now?
Seldom, because he's been under the control of a former psychotherapist, turned his manager, agent, producer, everything. So he's been under the control of a particular individual who there are attempts to get Brian in a more free and creative environment.
I think a lot of your fans would like to know if there's any chance that the group might get back together again, that Brian would rejoin the group.
Yeah, well, the group has always been together. Mind you, we've had tremendous amount of fans, and we've done maybe over 100 concerts a year for almost 30 years now.
Do you think Brian might rejoin you, though?
Absolutely. Yes, in fact, I look forward to doing some new music with him. We're coming up with our 30th anniversary, and we hope to do some great things musically, being that's quite a phenomenal milestone in the entertainment field.
You still do a lot of concerts, and people come out to them of all ages, not just my generation and a little bit older, but often they're kids, the kids that you're working with in your community projects.
That's right, and Kokomo, for instance, was the Song of the Year, voted the Song of the Year by the Nickelodeon.
Wow.
The kids who watch Nickelodeon, which is the young people's channel.
And that was about 3 years ago.
And it was also the #1 song on video for VH1, which is the adults. So the Beach Boys fortunately span all generations.
All right, Mike Love, we're looking forward to whatever you have next for us. Thanks for being with us.